State and federal regulators step in and close a Prineville-based bank, and it is immediately acquired by an Idaho-based bank called Home Federal. I'm Dave Adams. This is Take 5. Home Federal is based in Nampa, Idaho, and I have a chance to talk with Lynn Williams, who is president and CEO of that bank. First of all, Lynn, this was announced to the public about 6 p.m. Friday, taking a lot of people by surprise. How did this all come about?
Actually, we were given an opportunity to bid from the FDIC. Home Federal is a strong company from a capital perspective, and we were notified a while back of a potential opportunity out here. So we came, looked at the market, looked at the organization, looked at the people, and put in a bid. And then just a few days before the FDIC sees the organization, we were notified that we were the winning bidder, so here we are.
Now, for the folks in Central Oregon who aren't aware of exactly who Home Federal is, tell us a little bit about your company, your history. What is Home Federal?
Yeah, Home Federal has a long history. Actually, the company was founded in 1920 as a building and loan association in Nampa by the community, and it has evolved over the years to a community bank. We survived the Great Depression and a couple other economic downturns, so this type of economy is not new to the organization. And we, a couple of years ago, went out and secured some capital right about the time the economy started to drop. So we invested that capital in government-secured mortgage-backed securities and held on to it till we found some of the right opportunities. And we were presented this opportunity and thought it would be a good market to be in. We'll let it run somewhat autonomously, and from here try to grow it.
Let's talk about Central Oregon. What attracts you to the Central Oregon market?
Well, it's not too dissimilar to the Boise market in many regards. The people are quite similar. It's a very close-knit community. People live here because they want to live here. It's not necessarily industry-driven. So there are some similarities there. And frankly, from a geographic perspective, it's a lot faster to get here than it is to get to northern Idaho.
You talked about being autonomous or allowing the Home Federal Oregon branch here in Central Oregon to run somewhat autonomously. How do you plan on incorporating that in the goal going forward?
Yeah, we decided early on. I mean, we have no, Home Federal prior to Friday had no people in the market at all. So you'll see the same branches, same branch managers, same people making the business decisions in the market that you saw in the past. We will operate this as a separate region within the company. And while some of Home Federal's, obviously their policies and procedures will be put in place, you won't see people change in much difference than you've seen in the past.
What will be done as far as the operation now of what was Community First Bank, now Home Federal, to prevent a reoccurrence of the incurring of questionable loans to keep this kind of an event from happening?
Well, the Home Federal loan policy will be part of the process here. We're very disciplined, relatively conservative when it comes to lending practices, and we'll maintain that. It's been a tough economy for everyone. All banks that have been operating the last 4 years are hit by the real estate downturn. Terminology we tend to use is in a monsoon, even a brick house gets wet. So, we've been dealing with it as well.
What would you say to allay the fears of people that may be getting a little bit nervous? They hear news accounts of banks being closed by a state regulating agency and a bank from Idaho coming in overnight and taking over. People are a little nervous. What would you say to allay those fears?
Well, first off, that doesn't happen overnight. The declining capital is public information that folks can be aware of for quite some period of time. The FDIC and the state regulators work with the bank in many cases for several quarters before they take action. And when they find a suitor, they want to ensure it's not going to happen again. If you look at our capital ratio on our 630 number, we were like a 33% capital ratio, which is 3 times what's considered well capitalized. So they select a bank where they're not going to have to do this again, and we can pretty much assure the market that we're probably the safest place in town.
Williams says it will be business as usual in a lot of ways. Same account numbers, most of the same employees will be there, same checks, but under the name Home Federal. I'm Dave Adams. Take 5 is a production of 1110 KBND Radio News. Depend on us.
their automatic deposits, Social Security deposits will go right where they've always gone, same account numbers, no change.